Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Sarah, your science teacher, and I wanted to read you another book called All Aboard. This is a wonderful biography about Elijah McCoy. He is an African American who loved fixing things and working on things and solving problems. And he worked for a railroad company, and he ended up solving the problem of getting the train to move without getting really, really hot. And it's a great story that if you've never heard before, just sit back and relax and enjoy this show. All aboard. Summer days were mowing days in Ontario. Elijah McCoy watched his father cut the tall grass. He was waiting for the machine to break, and when it did, he jumped for joy. Elijah was only 6, but he was good at tinkering with tools. And you can see here that Elijah has his toolbox in his hand and is going to go help his dad. And this is what the lawnmower used to look like. Elijah McCoy was born in 1844. His parents had come to Canada on the Underground Railroad. They didn't talk much about the slave days. Elijah and his 11 brothers and sisters kept them busy. Elijah's mother and father saved every penny they could to send Elijah to school. At 16, he crossed the ocean to study in Scotland. Elijah had a dream. He wanted to work with machines. He wanted to become a mechanical engineer. So they didn't have planes back then. African American students didn't have as many opportunities to go to school in the United States or Canada, so he's going all the way to Scotland. In 1866, Elijah finished school in Scotland. His family now lived in Michigan. One day, a locomotive rolled into the station with Elijah on board. His mind was crackling with ideas. In Michigan, he was ready to be an engineer. So he's on the train, going back to be with his family. Elijah went looking for work at the Michigan Central Railroad. "It takes learning to be an engineer," said the boss, spitting at Elijah's feet. "I got ash cat work if you want it. It ain't hard. You bail in it. You grease the pig." "Excuse me?" said Elijah. "You shovel the coal into the firebox," replied the boss slowly. "You oil the wheels. You oil the bearings. It's not that hard." What a letdown. Elijah knew engines inside and out. He knew how to design them, build them. He also knew that the boss didn't think much of him because he was black. Elijah needed to work, so he took the job. The steam locomotive was exciting. People called it the Iron Horse. It was a fire-breathing monster. When it had a head of steam, it was faster than a horse and buggy. So now trains go extremely fast, but back then, it took some time to get the engines going and speeding up. Feeding the fuel in the firebox was hard, hot work. It was also tricky. The fire boiled the water, and the boiling water made steam. The steam worked the machinery. If the fire got too hot, the boiler might explode. If it wasn't hot enough, the train wouldn't move, or it couldn't climb even a small hill. Elijah went to work in old clothes. An ash cat's job was a dirty one. Soon, Elijah was covered in soot and cinders. A boy under the train? His clothes smelled of oil. "That's your grease monkey," said the boss. "He'll oil the places you can't get to." A grease monkey was paid pennies a day, and at night he'd sleep on the train's grimy floor. The work was dangerous, and boys often got hurt, or worse. There has to be a safer way, thought Elijah. So that's the problem. that Elijah discovers. It's an unsafe job, so he's trying to come up with a solution. Elijah bailed in the coal as fast as he could. Sweat poured down his face. His hands grew raw. The water in the boiler took time to heat up. While Elijah kept adding the coal, the grease monkey clamored around, oiling. Finally, the train was tanked up and ready to run. And you can see, what they call the grease monkey trying to fill this, kind of looks like a cup, but a long tube, and Elijah having to quickly add the coal. The engine huffed and it puffed, and its smoke billowed from its stack. The wheels clacked. The locomotive chugged along for about a half an hour. Chug, chug, chug. Suddenly, screech! The train stopped cold. The boy hopped down and crawled under the wheels. Elijah hopped down with his oil can. The passengers stayed put. They waited, and they waited some more. "All aboard," said the conductor. The pig was greased and ready to go. Chug, chug, chug. The passengers looked out at the passing farms. They talked, they ate, they laughed. Half an hour later, screech! Time to grease the pig again. What a job. Elijah didn't know which part he hated more, feeding the firebox or oiling the engine. And you can kind of see down here. Oops, I'm so bad at this. Right down there by the wheel, that's what they're doing. The train's metal parts needed oil to work smoothly. Without oil, the parts would stick and wear down, and the train would stop. While Elijah scooped coal, his mind sparked with ideas. Could he invent an oil cup that oiled the engine while the train was still running? Every night after work, Elijah made drawings. Finally, he had a drawing of an oil cup he knew would work. Part of being a scientist is first thinking of ways to solve a problem that you see all the time and coming up with a plan or a solution. And he is doing that by drawing and getting his ideas down on paper first. And then he's going to test it. And he's going to test it probably more than once and make many different kinds of modifications. It took 2 years for Elijah to make a model of his oil cup. In 1872, he applied for a patent to protect the invention. Then he took the metal cup to work. "There's a hole here to let the oil drip out," Elijah told the boss. "It drips oil when the oil is needed. It drips it where it's needed. It's simple. Why not give it a try?" Surprisingly, the boss agreed. Elijah attached the cup to the engine, and just for the Kalamazoo run, added the boss. The train rumbled off, heading towards Michigan. The engine huffed and it puffed. Smoke billowed from its stack. The wheels clacked. The train chugged along for half an hour. Chug, chug, chug. Everybody wondered when the train would stop, but it didn't. It chugged for another half an hour and another. Sounds like he fixed the problem. Elijah McCoy oil cup worked. It oiled the engine while the train was running, and the train reached Kalamazoo in record time. The grease monkey was safe, and Elijah was happy. Elijah McCoy oil cup made train travel faster and safer. Elijah worked on engine inventions all his life. He followed his dream. And when Elijah got older, he encouraged children to stay in school and follow their dreams too. Hopefully, you enjoyed this book as much as I did. The Real McCoy. Have you ever heard someone say that they want the real McCoy? It means that they want the real thing. No knockups, no substitutes. Other inventors copied Elijah McCoy's oil cup, but their cups drip didn't work as well. When engineers wanted to make sure they got the best oil cup, they asked for the real McCoy. Was Elijah McCoy a one-hit wonder? No way. He was an inventor. During his lifetime, he filed 57 patents, more than any other Black inventor. Most of his inventions had to do with engines, but several did not. Elijah invented a portable ironing board, a lawn sprinkler, and even a rubber heel for shoes. Want the best quality? Ask for the real McCoy. Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that book, and I hope that you follow your dreams and you encourage to look for problems in the world, and more importantly, if you find solutions for those problems, don't just stop the first time if your solution doesn't work. Keep working at it and keep trying, because you never know when it will start working. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.